Salut à tous, c'est Narev, on se retrouve pour la suite de nos aventures sur Encase. Alors finalement on fera pas le combat contre les Mobios, ça, il n'y a pas beaucoup d'intérêt. On va directement descendre vers la plateforme d'atterrissage afin de faire avancer l'histoire. Mais avant toute chose et sans obligation aucune, vous pouvez commenter, liker, vous abonner à la chaîne ainsi qu'activer la petite cloche de notification qui vous préviendra dès que du nouveau contenu sera disponible. Il y a au moins un épisode par jour. Ok, eh bien, on va s'y jeter. Descendre vers la plateforme d'atterrissage. Let's go. Plateforme d'atterrissage anormale. Notre histoire. Nous avons réussi à traverser les ruines de la station et à atteindre la plateforme d'atterrissage. D'accord. On va faire une sauvegarde. Bon alors le combat contre le Mobios, hein, je l'ai quand même réalisé en off. Pourquoi il a été inintéressant? Parce que oui, on cherchait des Mobios depuis très longtemps. Sauf que on n'a pas de station où installer notre cerveau cuirasse pour l'améliorer. Donc du coup, à part gagner de l'expérience, c'était une pièce qui n'était pas utile à faire. Le baril d'approvisionnement, il est là le Maelstrom, on dirait. Ok, des oignons et des bonbons. On est quasi à la fin du jeu et on me file des oignons et des bonbons. Capsule hors d'usage. Ah, là, il va se passer un truc.
The crackling of your Kairos suddenly breaks through Maelstrom's howling. Pulsating purple waves ripple and flex in the glowing air as if boiling about the invisible border. You throw your head back to see Maelstrom lazily swirling directly above you, but an unknown anomaly is blocking your way. It's almost imperceptible, but probably extremely dangerous.
On va scanner l'anomalie.
Green rays flicker across the surface of the anomaly, outlining its spheroidal shape. Data scrolls up on your scanner display.
On va lire les résultats sur le scanner. Les lignes suivantes s'affichent. Anomalie numéro 109, hachoir à viande. Prévalence inconnue, danger de classe 10, fonction supposée, élément actif d'un système de sécurité. Ok. On va lancer un boulon.
You throw a bolt at the anomaly. It hops about in the air for a few seconds as if bouncing on an invisible trampoline, and then flattens as if crushed by a multi-ton press, and finally snaps in half.
Ok, essayez de regarder l'anomalie
You
plus près.
circle around the anomaly. It's an irregularly shaped bubble around a dense, swirling void. The anomaly covers an area of about 30 square meters, and most of the landing capsule falls within its perimeter. That will be a problem. This is the same capsule you were going to use to get to Maelstrom. At the very last moment, Crump shoves you back with his shoulder.
Wait. Don't go there, boss. My gut tells me this whole idea is crap.
The anomaly suddenly seems to stretch towards you, as if sensing your presence. And you're not the only one witnessing this.
Here's what I'll say. When they locked me up last time, I thought I'd start reading all kinds of books while I had the time to familiarize myself with the sciences, get me?
The Bruiser stares silently at the anomaly for a while.
I got hold of this one journal that said there were anomalies that act like predatory plants. Sometimes they need to catch some living being, and when they do, poof, they shut down right away. And I think this crap is just like that.
Ok, alors dans ce cas-là, on va partir.
You return to the anomaly. The uneven border of pulsating air is fluttering only if you throw a bolt. You circle around. You return to the anomaly.
C'est pas vrai
The
ça.
uneven border.
Ok, on va faire ça. Et ce qu'on va faire, on va sauvegarder. Et on va tenter les différentes possibilités, à commencer par nous, on va y aller.
You return to the anomaly. You walk decisively into the tensely vibrating bubble and feel the space around you fill with deafening silence. You turn to see Katarzyna. Despair gives her strength. Screeching in horror, she grabs you around the midriff, and the two of you literally fall out of the vibrating spatial bubble. The anomaly surrounding the landing pad begins to change. The vibration around its perimeter grows more rapid and chaotic, as if engulfed by a transparent flame. A moment later, it disappears with a soft poof. The way is clear. Katarzyna gazes after you in concern.
Hey, take care, all right?
Eh oui, t'inquiète pas.
You look back at the ruins of the landing pad once more. A purple glow seems to have frozen in the air. Somewhere high above your head, the transport capsule's cables vibrate like giant guitar strings. Maelstrom is already near. All that remains is to take the last step.
Ok, on s'en est sorti. Une nouvelle fois, on va sauvegarder. Donc du coup, on se retrouve à l'endroit où on est arrivé. Hein. À la fin, tout ira bien. Pilogue.
The Maelstrom, now weak and shrunk, is slowly spinning amidst the thick fog. It is restrained by the emulator's core broadcasting via the Maelstrom beacons, though still very dangerous. You touch it with your fingers for a split second, and a flow of information overwhelms you at once, stunning you for a few moments. Listening carefully, you hear the familiar sound ingrained in your memory. Soft, rhythmic beats like heartbeats. Your mind opens toward the white nothingness as if hanging in midair. And something living inside the Maelstrom, invisible but perceptible, freezes in front of you, awaiting your command.
Et donc c'est là où on va avoir la possibilité d'accéder aux requêtes des différents protagonistes. Alors on pourrait éteindre le Maelstrom pour le désactiver définitivement, exécuter le programme de nettoyage du dôme, écouter Johann Reisner et transformer le Maelstrom en un tunnel menant hors du dôme et supprimer le champ mortel, ou bien sa femme et transformer le Maelstrom en force créatrice permettant de contrôler la météo et de résoudre le problème de stérilité sous le dôme. Utiliser le bêta-casque afin de permettre à Nakamura de contrôler le Maelstrom en le configurant. Utiliser le bêta-casque pour nuire à Nakamura. Écouter Audrey et affaiblir le Maelstrom et le laisser recouvrir la majeure partie du dôme. Écouter Rousseau découper le Maelstrom en différentes zones sûres pour les chercheurs. L'éjecteur, ça c'est indisponible. Ou bien la tête de Victoria le Grand, remplir la tête tranchée de Victoria avec le pouvoir du Maelstrom. Eh bien, notre choix, c'était la zone pique-nique. Donc c'est Audrey, l'affaiblir, mais le laisser recouvrir la majeure partie du dôme. C'est ce qu'on va prendre ça.
Maybe Melville is right. Whoever gains control of the Maelstrom will leave ordinary people disadvantaged anyway. Connected to the Maelstrom, you order it to reduce its radiation level to non-lethal values, at the same time spreading to a larger section of the dome, thus widening the borders of neutral zones, such as Picnic. The Maelstrom's spinning grows faster. The mist above the ground shoots upward, enveloping you with a thick white fog. An endless nothingness with no borders or bottom.
Alors, qu'est-ce qui va se passer? On est tout seul. Ton histoire. Après avoir écouté les arguments d'Audrey Melville, vous allez choisir d'affaiblir le Maelstrom et de l'éteindre, pardon, à l'intégralité du dôme. On est où? Là, on est ressorti, d'accord. Karma. Henrietta. Hieronymus. Normalement, elle est censée être dans le coin, là. C'est curieux, ça. Il n'y a plus personne devant. On va avancer par ici, hein. Gavin, peux-tu nous parler? Je sais même pas où sont nos copains. On va venir par ici. C'est vraiment très bizarre. Je suis un peu circonspect. Il y a Reynolds. Audrey Melville.
Melville stops rummaging in her backpack when you approach and shakes your hand silently.
I feel foolish. It happens sometimes. You don't believe till the last moment that they would look up to you. I hate that feeling.
She finally lets go of your fingers.
You do know it wasn't only picnic I went all out for.
Je lui ai demandé ce qui va se passer ensuite.
The young woman snorts mockingly.
Do I look like Nakamura? People will decide themselves what happens next. That was precisely the point of keeping the Maelstrom, wasn't it?
Ok. Katarzyna, tu veux bien revenir avec moi, s'il te plaît?
Katarzyna notices you from afar and waves her hand. Dressed in a white lab coat, she looks utterly out of place and lost in the desert.
You did it, right? I never doubted it for a Well, that is, I doubted it, of course, but I knew you had a chance. I was waiting for your return.
Belitskaya smiles awkwardly. The girl huffs warily.
Can we have adventures in some civilized places? I seem to have hot food, clean water and air conditioning. Although, I don't mind it anyway. Let's go. You will watch over me, won't you?
Yes. Elle repart avec moi, c'est parfait. On va essayer de trouver évidemment Crump. Sparrow est là. Adolphe Schmitz. Où est-ce que pourrait être Crump? Je le vois absolument pas. On va venir par là.
Nakamura is pacing back and forth in her tent, but stops anxiously when you come in.
Did you bring the helmet?
Non.
Nakamura actually pales.
You're It's unacceptable.
Her voice shakes with fury.
Guards!
Ah mais t'es sérieuse là? Oh là là. Et en plus ils sont balèzes. D'accord, alors on va peut-être pas faire ça. Hein? On va peut-être pas aller lui parler. Alors qu'est-ce qu'il nous reste à faire? Là je suis très curieux, hein. C'est pas une fin habituelle. La faim et la soif sont pour vous des problèmes inexistants. Ok. Ok, donc ce qu'on va faire, on va essayer de trouver nos différents amis. Crump, alors où est-ce qu'il pourrait être? On va passer... On va tout explorer. Hein. On veut retrouver Crump. Après on ira chercher Katarzyna. Et ensuite on ira voir... on retournera voir Audrey. Et une fois ça, et ben on avisera. Mais on sent qu'on arrive au bout. Hein. On va venir ici. Je sais pas où il est Crump, alors c'est pour ça. Je sais que c'est pas quelqu'un qui suivrait l'église, mais je veux éliminer aucune possibilité. Sœur Selma, d'accord. Ok, là il n'y a personne. On va venir ici. Gros conteneur que j'avais pas fouillé. Peut-être que si, mais il n'y avait pas d'objet intéressant dedans. En revanche, c'est fort probable. Webizao, Ronda Bridge, Zemeckis. Ah, ok, pas là. Ah, Crump est là. Parfait. Mon petit Crump, qui est avec moi depuis le début quasiment.
Crump looks back at the ruins of Concord, then looks at you and nods slowly in approval.
Well done.
Allez, tu veux m'accompagner dans de nouvelles
The
aventures?
orange grins.
Let's roll. I hope there'll be
Right.
people to fight in the place we're going.
Cool. Là, on est passé en encombrement léger. Du coup, on va pouvoir aller en face. Récupérer Katarzyna. Allez, c'est parti.
Katarzyna notices you from afar and waves her hand. Dressed in a white lab coat, she looks utterly out of place and lost in the desert.
You did it, right? I never doubted it for a sec. Well, that is, I doubted it, of course, but I knew you had a chance.
Ouais, ça on le sait, donc
The
tu vas
bloody
venir avec
Crump
moi.
is very scary.
Ok. Je veux quand même regarder vite fait si on a des sauvegardes, plateforme d'atterrissage. Oui, on a. Ok. Parfait. Épilogue. On a aussi. Nickel.
You won't have any problems with him,
On va
I
aller
hope?
parler à Audrey. Comme on l'avait fait la première fois. On connaît déjà le
Melville
speech.
The young woman
On va partir. Et du coup, est-ce qu'on peut s'en aller? Ouais, sortie du dôme. Ah, carrément, sortie du dôme. Allez. Ah, ils sont un petit peu longs. Ah, il y avait du chemin à parcourir quand même. On part avec Ursula, évidemment.
Another milestone in the history of mankind has come to an end. Maelstrom, that you have awakened in the excavation zone at C-12 Nashville facility, has remained completely unexplored, much like the civilization of the forefathers that created it. Of course, Maelstrom was neither good nor evil. It probably turned out to be just a tool that humanity simply was not mature enough to wield. Perhaps it was a communication interface that tried to unite the minds of all the people under the dome. Or a security system that warned us against getting into contact with something unknown and dangerous. Or a creative force that transforms the world and awakens supernatural powers in some individuals. One thing is indisputable. Maelstrom, lost in its own creation, gave rise to your incredible mind. And once in your hands, it gave you the opportunity to change the fate of the world completely. Few receive such a chance, and naturally, you took it and made your choice. Your decision was controversial, as is any decision in the name of something so ephemeral as freedom. By coming into contact with Maelstrom, you weakened its destructive force, but at the same time expanded its zone of influence over the entire dome, instantly depriving the new Committee and Phalanx of their territorial advantage. Audrey Melville knew perfectly well where everything would lead. The strong became weaker, and the weak grew stronger. The time of universal equality has come, something for which perhaps only the residents of Picnic were ready. Though you interfered with the new committee, your actions had no significant influence on the organization's fate. Some things changed for the better, some things to the worse, but generally, its status remained the same. The list of employees you delivered proved quite handy to Zemeckis. He invited many of the high-qualified specialists to work for the Phalanx, and some of them took the offer, leaving the new committee forever. After defeating the Maelstrom and wandering around the desert to your heart's content, you returned to Junktown and took the mayor's chair. Upon improving your relationship with Bethany, you took on a course to build a thriving capitalist community. Since Spengler, who lost his position as sheriff, left the settlement, you also had to take on the fight against crime. But you did not achieve much success. Junktown remained to be a rather dangerous place. As for the life on Magellan Station, nothing changed in particular. Elections took place in Carmine Heights. The Reisners kept their position. Your help had a significant effect on the settlement, and the community learned its lesson. Peace among its members became the highest priority of its internal policy, and eventually led to the creation of the local parliament. The long-lasting, simmering conflict which had been ruining the marriage of Johann and Olivia gradually faded. The now wiser spouses managed to build a balanced settlement, combining both powerful scientific potential and productive agriculture. With the passage of time, Carmine Heights managed a small but technically equipped army to protect the Republic from invading forces. Zemeckis' embarrassment from losing the elections in Carmine Heights didn't last long. Hieronymus channeled all his passion toward transforming the Phalanx, trying to turn it from a private mercenary army to something bigger. He succeeded. Thanks to the database of the new committee employees you'd stolen, Zemeckis managed to attract valuable specialists, who turned the Phalanx into a leading community of the Dome for years. The growing influence of both the Phalanx and the new committee led to a conflict between them. In 1988, Zemeckis was killed by an assassin. With its leader dead, the Phalanx lost its status and eventually ended up as a Caravaneer company. Your help and support to the church resulted in it spreading all over the dome in just a few years. Its branches opened even in the farmost places. No qualitative leap in the virtual world technology occurred, and both the church and its faith became something quite mundane after a while. The church's position worsened. Its adepts started being harassed. The church was eventually eliminated by Kimiko Nakamura's decree. The spread of Maelstrom to the entire dome and the ensuing threat of radiation led to a massive resettlement. Yesterday's phalangists and city dwellers scattered throughout the dome. For many, the picnic has become a temporary refuge. For some, their permanent home. You had taken Victoria's head, but broke your promise. When the Fops realized you'd fooled them, they were furious. For a long time, their army, led by ire and sorrow, roamed about the desert, tearing apart unfortunate travelers. Eventually, they walked into one of the rapidly spreading Phalanx outposts and were destroyed. However noble her intentions, time proved Audrey's plan a failure. Universal freedom and independence did nothing at all to move technology forward or fund expensive research. The world under the dome was slowly changing into a single, sprawling village without scientific advancement, without medicine, without prospects. By the beginning of the new millennium, most of the independent settlements had sunk into oblivion. The rest were slowly dying, without the people, leadership, or resources to survive. Though it became obvious much later, after many years, by that time, the desert had covered your traces. Though the tale of what you'd done is still alive, and will stay like that till the end of time.
Et bien voilà. C'est la fin d'Encase, ou du moins l'une des fins possibles d'Encase. Alors là, je dois vous dire que j'ai apprécié grandement de faire ce let's play sur ce RPG assez original qui, par bien des aspects, rappelait Fallout. On sait qu'il y a d'autres fins possibles, donc n'hésitez pas, si vous voulez voir d'autres fins, je pourrais vous faire une autre vidéo avec les différents épilogues, du moins ceux qu'on peut possiblement débloquer. Soit on est dans le nouveau comité, soit on est dans les Reisner, soit on est dans Victoria le Grand. C'est à vous de me dire si vous avez envie de voir une ultime vidéo d'Encase où l'on ne verra que, eh bien que les différentes fins. En tout cas, j'ai été extrêmement ravi de cette aventure qui aura duré 47 épisodes, soit un peu plus de 20 semaines, même un peu plus que ça, hein. Ça va faire un long moment qu'on est dessus, et c'est aussi un soulagement qu'une tristesse de terminer ce jeu, mais on l'a mené à peu près comme on voulait, à quelques exceptions près, comme la servo-cuirasse que j'aurais adoré améliorer au maximum. Bon, ça n'a pas été le cas, c'est pas grave. Et puis je suis assez content qu'on ait choisi la fin du point pique-nique, même si on voit que au final la vie sous le dôme s'est éteinte dû à ce choix. Mais je regrette rien, c'était une bonne ligne directrice. Donc je vous laisse avec les crédits, comme il se doit. Et puis je vous dis à très bientôt pour de nouvelles aventures.